B-Marsh Boxing back again, once again with another boxing video. So WBO middleweight champion Demetrius Boo Andrade. He don't want to hear no talks about him taking a pay cut. He rejects the idea of taking a pay cut during this pandemic, and he actually suggests that Canelo, Anthony Joshua, and Triple G should take a pay cut before they come talk that BS to him about a pay cut. Boo Andrade's not letting the pandemic come between him and this paper. You know what I mean? And these are his quotes. He was speaking to Chris Mannix on a podcast called Boxing with Chris Mannix, and he said, quote, maybe stop paying Anthony Joshua all that money. Maybe stop paying Canelo Alvarez all that money. Maybe stop paying Gennady Triple G Golovkin all that money. And everyone else should be happy with what they're getting. There's a lot of money out there between the names I mentioned. The people are coming up, got to take a pay cut. That's crazy. Make them take a pay cut and spread it. There's enough here. Now what, end quote. What these guys have in common is they're all on the zone. Well, all these three guys or four guys, or let me say three guys, that's with Canelo and Triple G and Andrade. Another thing they have in common, not only that they fight on the zone, they've all been champions at the same time. Boo Andrade has been trying to face these guys for years. Triple G and Canelo have ignored the man, Boo Andrade. He has the missing piece to the link, to the undisputed realm. Not anymore, because Canelo has also vacated titles, won them back. It's not quite sure what Canelo wants to do. But one thing that these two guys do have in common is that they ducked Boo Andrade. More quotes from the man, Boo Andrade. Quote, at the end of the day, who do fighters go to take pay cuts? Quote, at the end of the day, why do fighters gotta take pay cuts when they're putting their life on the line? It's just a effed up situation. It's effed up. Go pay cut everybody else. I don't see any other sport taking a pay cut. Quarterback Mahomes just signed a contract for $503 million. There's no pay cuts over in the NFL. You take a pay cut of $503 million, you make $200 million or $100 million, you're still going to be happy. But if a fighter's making $5 million a year and it turns into $2 million and then it turns into $1 million, to get freaking punched in the face, black eyes, concussions, all the training, like, nah, bro. End quote. Seems like Demetrius Andrade and Terence Crawford are on the same wavelength as far as them not trying to take no pay cuts, and they're not going to anytime soon. A lot of people have criticized Bud Crawford, saying, that Bud Crawford must not realize we're still in a pandemic, etc., blah, blah, blah. But Boo Boo has a point, man. If he has to take a pay cut, all them head honchos, top dogs over there on the zone got to take a pay cut too. Nobody's impartial and nobody should be treated any better than the other. You know what I'm saying? Boo Andrade has a great point talking about the money could be spread out, that these fighters like Canelo, Triple G, these guys have been stealing money ever since they came to the zone. I don't even know if any fight has been on the zone yet between the two. If I'm not mistaken, both fights were on HBO pay-per-view. So the zone, till this day in 2020, they still haven't given the fans that third fight. A lot of people is talking about they don't want to see the fight. A lot of people say, oh, Canelo should get the man to fight. People got to make up their mind. I have no problem whatsoever seeing that fight. Both fights were close. I thought Canelo won the second fight, hands down, clear-cut decision. The first fight was a draw on my scorecard, 6 rounds apiece. But if I had to give the victory to anybody, it wouldn't be Canelo that night. It would have been Triple G in the very first fight. Till this day, the Zone has not given the fans that fight yet. So with Bubu Andrade with the same wavelength as Terence Crawford, let me read some quotes, some more. Quote, I don't blame Terence Crawford for saying that I want my money. This is what I fight for. This is what I've been doing my whole life. I don't know if it's a dramatic cut or not. I don't know Crawford's business. But on my side, and what I know is, if you're going to give me a pay cut, take away the Triple G money, the Canelo money, the Anthony Joshua money. Like those are the pays that need to be cut. End quote. Triple G trying to tell, I'm sorry, the Zone, Anthony Joshua, man, I don't know what I'm saying. Demetrius Andrade got a point, especially for the fact that these guys are not trying to fight him and then they trying to fight cupcakes in between. You know what I'm saying? This is what the man Bubu Andrade had to say about Triple G's $100 million contract from the Zone. Trying to tell y'all, man, Triple G got to a point where he wasn't worried about Undisputed no more. Ever since he started making $1 million paydays, which is all great. I'm all for fighters making the most money that they can. That's one thing for sure, two things for certain, especially for my entertainment, for fellas getting punched in the face and in the head. But Triple G been getting them big paydays, especially when he fought Canoli. Hey man, legacy's out the window, you know what I'm saying? Let me read some quotes what the man Andrade thinks of Triple G's fat contract over there with the Zone. He said, quote, they should have never given him that money in the first place. I'm saying, if you're the Zone or Matchroom and you're pay cutting people, the people getting paid the most should be giving it to everybody else. That's where the pay cuts should be coming from. I have no problem fighting anybody when it comes to fighting. When it's time to fight them. At the end of the day, I know my worth. They know what they're worth. The people want to get paid for getting their heads taken off of each other. A few hundred grand is what the man Demetrius Andrade is considering if they had to take a pay cut. And that's not from him. He's talking about from the likes of Anthony Joshua, Canoli, and Triple G. A few hundred grand. So the man's not talking about astronomical millions. You know what I mean? And this is what he said, quote, Canelo is making this much money. Anthony Joshua is getting this much money. Pay cut them guys and everybody else should still get some good money. And they still get paid enough. That's my point. Nothing more or less. End quote. Looks like Demetrius Andrade's a little frustrated over there on the Zone. Looks like he's taking shots at the top head honchos, the guys making that major paper over there. Joshua, Canelo, Triple G. And he ain't having it because he personally feels he can beat both of the middleweights. You know what I mean? And he does have a point. He has an excellent point, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Bubu Andrade should not be at the liberty of taking any pay cut, especially when these other guys are fighting nobodies and making stupid millions and they not trying to fight him. So I'm all for it. 100% agree with the man Bubu Andrade. You know what I mean? Mike 202 in the chat. What the deal, Mike 202? He says, peace and blessings, brother. Big up, Mike 202. Salute, my G. Big up, Slim. Thanks for coming through. You heard? Yeah, man. So we'll see what Bubu Andrade does. We'll see what 2021 brings as well. Because 2020 is shot in every aspect of life. You know what I'm saying? If you're lucky enough to still be earning good paychecks like you were before the pandemic, give thanks. God is good, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, especially summertime, it's a wrap. It's just boxing. I think the big fights, we'll be lucky to get any big fights in this 2020. Maybe 2021 will look like a year filled with more boxing events. B Marsh Boxley, your thoughts and comments. Let me know what y'all thought about Bubu Andrade taking shots at the top guys over there at the zone. And let me know what y'all think. Do you agree with them or not? I'm gone. Peace.